Black's Law Dictionary. In Spanish law, the word family means loved ones. Try not to loved ones. Try not to use the word family, because the word family means servants and slaves. We never was taught that. In the 4th edition of the Black's Law Dictionary, in Spanish law, the word family means servants and slaves. I even got a case law on that. Mind blown. So here we are using their language to describe our loved ones. So that's your consanguinity, which means they're all within your same bloodline. You see what I'm saying? But we misnomer that as family. So we so fixated, Minister Brown, in those words that we can't see ourselves outside of those words. Just like the word understand. We should never use the word understand. We think that the word understand has something to do with our comprehension.
Right.
But the word understand, the word under means below, stand means status. When you look up the word stand, it means status. So you're talking about being under somebody's authority. So when you hear somebody actually chastise you, they say, do you understand? Do you understand? So when you hear that type of intensity of the word, do you understand? Do you, miss or mister, do you understand what I'm saying? You know, you in the front of the court, or you in the front of a lawyer, or you in the front of a police officer, and they use that term in that vernacular. We're taking it as, I understand, which means I'm subordinate. Because anything other than that, insubordination. So they train us with these words on the job. Like I was on my way over here, I was talking to a brother who was in a correctional facility, and I'm trying to help him. He said, what's up, boss? I said, brother, don't call me that. Look in the dictionary. The word boss means Dutch master. So who do you think took us as property to become slaves? It was the Dutch. That's how they got New York. It was New Amsterdam.
Right.
And they have the Dutch flag, that orange, white, and blue, which is the same colors of New York Knickerbockers. People's not paying attention. We just going right along with European culture. All right? Until the Anglicans went to war in 1664 and 1665 against the Dutch, and now New Amsterdam became New York. It was the Duke of York, so they came with the Duke of York laws that became New York State Constitution, coming from, and he became a king in England. So we are under these laws. So when people say, brother, where you from? You from New York? I cannot be from New York. Because the thing that gets me, Minister Brown, that even though we have been Christianized, there are some principles in the biblical text that is our culture. Because it's been so convoluted, we don't see it. We can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. There are principles there. It says, honor thy mother and father. So if you're going to honor your mother and father, you can't say you're from New York, because that's not your birthright. You follow me? But we was taught that way. You know? Like, where do you live, sir? Well, technically, you live within yourself. You don't live in no house or in no car or no place they give you, because they train us to say, well, sir, where do you reside? Where is your resident? Well, we didn't know in law, R-E-S means thing in Latin. Ident, meaning identity. So these people looking at it as a thing, like in the grammar now, person, place, or thing. So I always say in the grammar, why would they put the word person in the same category as places and things? Because a place is a property and thing is property. One is real property, the other one is personal property. So why would you put person in the same category? So what are they telling you? And here we got these English teachers teaching our young youth this linguistic witchcraft, this fraudulent conveyance of language, which is a federal crime. That's identity theft. A noun in grammar is an identity theft. Because according to our ancestors' vernacular, we didn't use noun. There was no such thing as a noun. Everything was a verb, because everything is living. We express everything because it's living. So we are looking at things in its indicity form from a European vernacular. This is how they captured us. They used the language against us to capture us. So now we become an object. All right? Now it's interesting, because in court, if something is being said that a lawyer doesn't agree, one of the words he says is, I object. You see what I'm saying? Because he's speaking against what somebody's trying to put him into. All right? So I always try to tell our brothers and sisters, anytime the DA is saying something against your character, that's slander. But we never object to that. Because when the DA begins to start reading the charges and start talking to the judge, and the judge look at you and say, "Sir, how do you plead?" "Sir, I object." That's slander. That's slander. Because the DA doesn't know me. That's not my character. That's why it's good to get character references from people in your community. The DA don't live in your community. So we can allow the DA to put slanderous remarks by misrepresenting you as that person. The same person that's in the Constitution is the same person in the penal law. If the person commit this crime, that's what they say. Well, you're not a person. You have a persona, but you're not a person. Because they took the feminine A from the word persona and left you with the word person. So when you go to 26 U.S.C. section 7701, right, and they specifically tell you what the definition of person is. I want to pull this out real quick. That's why I like to do PowerPoints. So when we show this to our people, Minister Clemens and Brown, then they're going to see the language that they're using. 26 U.S.C. section 7701. Look what they say. This is what they say. I don't know if you can see that.
Yes.
All right, you see that? All right, I'm going to read it.
Okay.
It says here, when used in this title, this is, 26 U.S.C. is the tax code. So they're using the Internal Revenue Code as a form of warfare against our people. This is another form of slavery through taxation. So they use 26 U.S.C. 7701. So you'll say to a brother, you a person? You're going to say quite naturally, yes. A sister, are you a person? Quite naturally, you're going to say yes. But this is what the devil say. The devil say that when used in this title, we are not otherwise distinctly expressed or manifestly incompatible with the intent thereof. And look what they say. Look what they say, Minister Clemens and Brown, if you can see from that distance. Look what they say. For the definition of person.
Read it.
All right. It says here, person. The term person shall be construed, to mean and include an individual, an estate. You see?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? They said state, partnership, association, company, or corporation. So if they take the word person that we learn in grade school, when they use the noun, right? What is the noun? They say person, place, or thing.
Right.
These devils are setting us up to put in the same category as commodities, as property.
Commodities and property.
You see what I'm saying? So when Mr. Bay here say that we should not be using nouns, but because the way they have constructed our minds with this poisonous grammar that they use called noun, and they put the word person in the same category as places and things, we can't conceive that. Because what they teach you in grade school and what they teach you in law is two different things. So they're using legal jargon in this society. They're using financial jargon in this society. So we as a people don't communicate to the elite who's speaking a different language, even though they're using English as the vehicle, but they're defining the word differently.
Right.
That's called equivocal, which means it gives a sort of like a comparison of being the same, but it's being defined differently. So that's why I tell people that's why you have to study your antonyms and your synonyms. The three things you have to study in language is prepositions, antonyms, and synonyms. So when a person say, brother, you live in New York? I say, no, I'm at New York. The preposition at, not in. Because New York is a corporation. If you do the research from the State Department here, you'll find out that New York is a corporation. So the question is, can you, as a man, live in a corporation? It's impossible, because a corporation is a fiction. So you can't live in a fiction. That's what that movie Wizard of Oz is all about, with Dorothy The Wizard of Oz?